When my family immigrated from Mexico, I was 4 years old. The move from Mexico City became an experience beyond leaving one place to live in another. It has transformed into a lifelong journey to grip by national identity. My memories of Mexico are limited. Mexico is my formation, a mother's tongue, a kiss on the cheek. Mexico is my parents' memories, but not entirely my own. Tú eres mexicana. You are Mexican. My grandmother and mother reassure me as I struggle to teach myself a language that's supposed to be my own. Am I? What makes me Mexican? That I was born there? That I speak Spanish? Is that enough to represent a country? The national anthem would play in the background, and my grandfather would stand and salute. I would watch him, curious of a man so patriotic. You? You are Chicana. You are Raza, my high school counselor told me. Am I? So I took on the fight for social justice, grew hyper-empathetic to the needs of the marginalized and poor. I marched in rallies, filled water jugs in the desert. I lectured white people, and I imagined a history where the indigenous had won. But then I went to college, and the Chicanos told me I was white, and I could not represent their exploitation. And I grew very confused. With time, it became more difficult to relate to other Mexican Americans inhabiting the lowest or highest economic classes. Latino identity is complicated. Esto es América Latina. This is Latin America. My professor told me with his suave Argentine accent, a non-Catholic white Latino who would refer to me as vos. I took up my last banner, convinced that I would read all the great Latin American writers and see life through their eyes. I studied in Chile and Argentina, and for the first time I felt at home. But eventually my Spanish vocabulary failed me, and despite my appreciation for the humanities, I am not an intellectual. My strengths lie in working with the illiterate and not the literate. Esto no es México. This is not Mexico. My mother would say as we would drive down the streets of Tijuana, 15 miles from the border where I grew up. She was right. Tijuana was not Mexico City, but it is still Mexico, and Guatemala, and Colombia, and Chile. It is Latin America, the dark and the light, a visible and open artery of the Americas. Yo soy de la Ciudad de México. I am from Mexico City, but I grew up in a borderland, a bridge between two worlds that despite proximity lack understanding of each other. Where the border touches, it is messy, rough, complicated. There are fences, but somehow I can walk freely on this border and speak its inner language, because I am the bridge, and my identity is that of the translator. So what is binational identity? It is the experience and formation of more than one perspective. It is a cultural competency that has allowed me to translate white, Korean, Muslim, old, young, rich, poor, popular, nerdy, Republican, Democrat, New York, Arizona, and now Columbus. It is what made me flexible, adaptable, and more importantly, curious. What matters is not what I am or how you see me, but what I've done of substance pushing through the discomfort. Mostrarte como sos y no como otras personas te imaginan.
pictures of my dreams are red.